Hi, I'm Scott Coburn, Business Manager for Syngenta, based in Oxfordshire and the surrounding counties. I'm back with Colin Woodward at Great Chew Estate, and this time we're focusing on application and what good application means and why it's important to get it right. So Colin, we've got your new sprayer in the background behind us. Do you maybe just want to talk about that sprayer and why you went for that machine rather than other options that you could have had?
One of the decisions was to go back from 32 to 30 metres to we're going into a 10 metre controlled traffic system. So that was one scenario we were looking at. We have been Bateman in the past. Our previous sprayer wasn't Bateman, but we like the fact that it's quite light, and we like the fact that Bateman had a relationship with Capstan for the PWM side, so we wanted to make sure that the sprayer had lots of technology on it going forward that we could utilise, that would be sort of here in the next 5 years, so we could build on that. And the PWM was for our small fields, lots of infield trees and corners. We wanted to improve the application of our chemical round corners and round trees.
So pulse width modulation or PWM is, I suppose, relatively new still in the UK, widely used in America and Canada for a number of years. One of the difficult choices is around nozzle choice. So what have you currently got on the machine, and what are you looking to use in the future on the machine?
So we're liquid fertiliser. So the one downside with PWM, we can't use a dribble bar. So of the nozzles that we've got on our two fertiliser nozzles from Hardy, QuantaStreams, so we've moved from a dribble bar back to a nozzle for our liquid fertiliser. That's working quite well at the moment. We haven't had too much scorch. That seems to be all considering we've only had it the sprayer since January. We've got some Wilga nozzle on there for our for our fungicide application. Right. And we've got Defy 04s and 06s. 06s for 200 litres for our pre-em and post-em application in the autumn, and 04s for herbicides in the spring, along with other fungicides with that.
So part of the work that we do at Syngenta is focusing on developing new nozzles, and clearly you've mentioned Wilga nozzles as being a really good fit for pulse width modulation. Yeah, we're in the process of bringing to market our new 3D90 nozzle, which is an evolution of the 3D that you've mentioned you've got on the machine anyway, but incorporating 90% drift reduction. Yeah. And again, a bit like you in many ways, we sort of future-proofed that nozzle by making it suitable for pulse width modulation. So what's your feelings about 90% drift reduction nozzles? We see it as something the industry are going to be pushed towards in the next few years. How do you feel about that?
I think legislation will be pushing us to obviously reduce drift, and we've got obviously reduced days that we can actually spray on in the autumn. So we don't want to miss any opportunities where we're slightly the wind's got up slightly, and we need to make sure obviously that the chemical lands on the target. So I think that's only got to be a good thing. We've got on quite well with the 06s. Yeah. They can be a little bit drifty. Yeah, sure. Absolutely, we really would welcome the chance to have that extra drift reduction.
So we've been testing them for a few years now, and we're just at the point of launch of that nozzle. What do we need to sort of bring to you, to show to you that 90% with sort of fewer larger droplets? What do we need to show you to prove to you that they are as good as?
I've seen some trial results with them, certainly compared with the A6s, they're favourable in the weed control that they do on the coverage on the ground. So I totally believe that they'll be equal to the A6s. Okay. But yeah, I mean we are always at 200 now for our preems just to get the coverage right. So we'd want to see that obviously they work well with higher water volumes and yeah, I think the fact that they work with the PWM would be a real benefit for us.
Yeah, definitely. It's certainly, with that being a pre-orifice nozzle rather than an air induction nozzle, it does make it very much compatible with PWM. And PWM, whilst it's a great thing in itself, doesn't actually control drift as such. It does allow you to maintain pressure. So when you increase forward speed, you're not increasing pressure and therefore drift. So PWM is great for that, but actually nozzle choice is still really important with PWM on your machine to keep on top of drift.
What speed do you recommend with the new 90s compared with, because at the moment we generally go 12k? Yeah. So
well, I think our advice would still be very much to be in that 12k sort of range. It's, you know, I wouldn't want to see anybody going much faster than that. I don't think there's a need to, Colin, because accurate placement is still fundamental to doing the job right and putting the product where you want it. No, that's good. So if thinking about application slightly wider, what sort of benefits do you put on, you know, good application? Why do you think application is important, and why is it important to you as a business?
It's getting the best out of the chemical and making sure that where the droplet lands, it will cover all the bases. So we need to have good, if you're talking about herbicides in the autumn, we need to make sure we've got good coverage over all the soil, so that there isn't a route for the weed to come through that hasn't got the full dose of chemical to protect it. The weed is controlled. So, and as far as fungicides go, it's getting the coverage over the leaf so we protect all the plant. Yeah. So, yeah. To be honest, we found it difficult to get nozzles for the PWM. So, yeah, actually, Syngenta thinking about that has been really helpful.
Yeah.